Welcome, citizen, to another Starcraft Nation broadcast. I'm your host, Whitera, and in today's cast we'll be seeing the second matchup in between Whitera and Tarson, coming from the Go4SC2 series. Now, Whitera will be playing as Duckload. As most of you are aware, but for those of you who haven't, his official sponsor is Duckload. I think it's like a file sharing service or something of that matter. But they basically gave him, and this is how he makes the monies, is playing with this account. So I wouldn't mind changing my name in game to get the sweet monies for playing Starcraft. So either way, we are going to be playing here on Delta Quadrant. Now, to give a little bit of recap, if you did not watch the first of these series, Tarson was overcome by Whitera. Tarson moved up quite early and did a little bit of Banshee harass, loitered outside of Whitera's base, but didn't reinforced enough, didn't have enough tanks. He had a lot of Marines, and Whitera was sporting a Colossus Stalker build with a few Zealots in there as well. So definitely Whitera overpowered Tarson and didn't give him a chance to really recuperate from it, and he basically just rolled the game up from there. So Tarson now is going to be interesting to see, is he going to stay with the same build? Is he going to go with the Banshee harass? Is he going to go with the Marine tank build with a Raven in there? I did like the Raven. Ravens are a very, very crucial part, I believe, of a Terran build, just because they give you the detection that you need going up against Protoss, Zerg, you name it. It allows you to see on the battlefield, not making you waste a scan. But right here, we do have them duking it out here. Of course, Whitera will be backing this probe off while its shields are down. The SCV, of course, will not be able to recuperate any sort of shields or health. Anyway, we do have this Rax finish up here. A Marine will be going down immediately, and we do actually see, yes, this probe is looking around down there. Now, this is a great area to be tossing down a proxy pylon, or even over here. If you throw a pylon here, you will have vision. You will be able to warp in units over here. Pretty sneaky stuff. I've seen it so many times. It looks like Tarson's actually walling off his back. That might actually be happening. I know Tarson doesn't believe that this is the front door, but maybe he's walling it off just in case for that back warp that I was talking about. Not really sure, but we do actually see him checking out 4 proxy pylons there by rallying around. And Tarson, of course, will be throwing down a factory off of the one Vespene right now. Now, Whitera has both of his Vespene geysers occupied. We do see Cybernetics Core going ahead, cranking out the Warp Gate technology, but interesting enough, he's cranking out a Stalker instead of the Warp Gate technology. So it looks like he's going to try to prepare himself for any sort of early Hellion or Reaper harass that Tarson might be throwing at him. But of course, that is not the case, as we see him only bring up this factory. We don't have a tech lab on the barracks, so the factory, of course, would be key in getting the Nitro Boost Pack upgrade. I'm not sure the exact verbiage of it, but basically the speed upgrade for the Reapers, as that does actually make quite a bit of difference. But we see Whitera coming up here with his one Stalker, engaging the Marines here, definitely outgunned, as these 4 Marines would be more than happy to kill off this Stalker. And of course, we do have another Stalker coming out here for Whitera. Whitera might actually be going for an early, yes, a Blink Stalkers would be my guess, seeing that this many Stalkers on the field. I would be guessing that that's what's going to be going on, as you could go ahead and Blink Stalker your way across here. But Tarson will be ready for that, will be looking for it. And yes, he is blocking off his back door. Now, that's awesome. You don't really see it that often, as you would think, why are you blocking off your back door when you should be doing it to your front door? But nope, that's not how Tarson rolls. He will be rolling, though, with a starport. Will be grabbing a Raven early on, instead of getting the Banshees to begin with. We do see a tech lab coming down for the factory, so we'll be seeing, we'll either be seeing Hellions with a Infernal pre-igniter, there we go, or tanks, or Thors, though I would be thinking we're probably going to see tanks, especially considering what kind of build he was doing last time. So we will have these 3 Stalkers moving up on the ramp. We'll be challenging the Marines up here, as they are getting a good look, and we'll be sniping that one Marine, of course, that poor guy, doing a psychological damage to all the rest of the Marines there, as I don't believe any Stalker has actually taken any critical damage. Oh, this one was actually hit once, I do believe. So that basically a free kill right there. Yes, we do actually have Blink being cranked out by Duckload Raw. So Whitera looking to basically just going to try to blink it up here. Now, we've seen Blink Stalkers used in the past to great effect Main example was Nazgul going up against Whitera in the MLG Dallas series. We saw the massive strength of Blink Stalkers and the ability for them to continue to attack, but blinking the lead units in the back, allowing them to recharge their shields and allowing their brethren to go ahead and start taking some of the heat off of them. So basically, you don't have to lose any units until you start doubling over in your blinks and you have your already damaged units coming to the front once again. But by that amount of time, you're already going to see so many of the enemy's units going ahead and be dropped. Now, Ducklord Rod, it looks like he will be trying to come over to this peninsula, and it looks like he will be trying to blink across, but he is actually going to be sniping the supply depot. But the point of that supply depot was just to get vision, as his tank is not going to be having any of that, and will be laying down a few rounds on these Stalkers. So right now, Whitera is having a hard time really kind of cracking this shell, as he is applying some pretty early pressure. We don't see either of our players here with any sort of expansion, and we will see the Stalkers on the front door once again trying to snipe this bunker, but we do have three SCVs sitting there and a point defense drone going down. This, of course, being super effective against the Stalkers, and we saw it dropping all of those rounds and basically keeping that bunker nice and cozy. As once again, Whitera will be marching to the back of Tarson's base, and Tarson, of course, expecting it. We do see one guy blinking over, kind of feeling how things are going out here, and no, it doesn't look like it's actually going to happen. We do see one Stalker going down from tank fires. These tanks are definitely well suited at taking out these Stalkers, especially if we have Siege Tech. Of course, we do have Siege Tech on the way. We have a Banshee as well, and we do see Templar Archives will be finishing up here momentarily, as well as Charge. Let's go take a look at the income tab. And right now, we're actually seeing Tarson ahead by about 5 harvesters. Now, not that big of a deal, but if he continues to go ahead and kind of breach this gap, this could, in the end, create quite a predicament for Whitera, as Whitera does look like he's actually going to be backing off, but actually forced to evacuate his entire mineral line due to the fact that this Banshee's in there. Of course, the Banshee will be going down, but once again, she probably got a few kills there, but her main damage was the fact that she was able to force Whitera on the defensive, and not only on the defensive, but he was forced to evacuate his mineral line, and that entire time we didn't see Whitera with any income, whereas we saw Tarson, of course, with his regular income. Now, he does have a 9 harvester gap. So back to the production tab, we do see Stimpack will be finishing. It's about halfway right now. We do see more Marauders coming out. We do see a Medevac, more Siege Tank, and actually 3 racks will be going down. So Tarson expecting to have a income boost here, able to go ahead and utilize those production facilities. And we do have Whitera coming up once again, but those siege rounds are coming down on these Stalkers, and that one Stalker definitely is not liking that, as it only has 12 HP left. So he was the unlucky point man right there, as these 3 tanks went ahead and threw a massive volley at those forces. So Tarson doing a good job right now, expanding, and able to expand, I think, solely because of that one Banshee. Now, that one Banshee forced Whitera to move back, and I think that it was a really big, I think that's a really big point in this game so far, as we're actually going to see a little bit of fire right here. We don't actually have the tank sieged up with that Raven. Unfortunately, it was dropped before he could throw down any sort of point defense. We do have the Zealots trying to make something happen here. Of course, these Stalkers will not be able to take on the rest of these forces, as this High Templar is going to be caught and killed out in the open. Now, this pylon, actually, let's see, only one pylon. I thought it was a Nexus there for a second. So we do actually have Tarson's forces sieging up here, and we'll be applying some early pressure, as Whitera is going to have a hard time dealing with this, as he does not have the minerals to really recoup from this. And we do actually see Whitera GG out, so Tarson just really unloading on Whitera, as he was not able to make those point defense drones really point defense drones. He wasn't able to make those Blink Stalkers highly effective, and due to the fact that it was some pretty early tech, that kind of set him back, as we also saw the harassment. Whitera had a lot of losses, and wrong button. Losses, but look at the income tab right there, as we said Tarson doubling the income of Whitera, and that was pretty much his undoing. Of course, this Zealot is going to be definitely eating a couple of Gauze rounds, and we do see it bouncing off the armor. So guys, thank you for joining me so much. Thank you for joining me thank you so much for joining me today. I will be throwing out one more of this series. We'll be cranking them out, and we'll be uploading them later today. So as always, citizens, stay safe.